What's going on? Welcome to Ed News. Today we're going to talk about WhatsApp, a mobile application that is owned by Meta, which was formerly known as Facebook. And last week, Mark Zuckerberg and the team at Meta announced the focus on building community and helping people be aligned by interests on the WhatsApp app, which has billions of users around the world. But one of the communities they were looking to focus on was education and how schools can have a community on WhatsApp that has individual groups that allows you to communicate with parents, that allow teachers to communicate with students to communicate with each other, but then also have a space where an administrator can communicate with everyone within the community. Now, this release is going to happen later in the month, but I wanted to start talking about it as a strategic opportunity for schools when you start looking at how are we going to communicate with our students, our community as we move forward. Right, it would have been nice something like this would have been available during the pandemic when there was a lot of changes. But I think now you have something here that I think could align with your Facebook group, your Instagram, if you have an Instagram, because you're already using Meta tools. And now I think this one aligns where you can now build more community around those platforms. Let's dive in. All right, so I'm looking at a Wall Street Journal article around kind of what was expected in the features. And this was just some of the research we did. Let's go ahead and throw up the UI. Let's throw up the UI. Here's kind of what they said that this could possibly look like. And again, this is, we're talking about months before this kind of comes out. Now, what you're seeing here is that as a collective community, you can have groups within that community. And this isn't like a community like Reddit or Facebook where you can just go search random communities and ask to join them. You have to be invited by administrators, and you have to be invited through having a phone number and an information. So it makes it really private. This is you don't just search all these communities and now have to, as an administrator, have to worry about people diving in. Now let's go ahead and go to the article so you can kind of see more detail on what is being said on what can happen. On Thursday, the Facebook parent company unveiled plans for communities, a collection of group chats linked, for example, school. So all community members could be alerted of snow days or PTA meetings. Testing will begin in a few months with a global rollout to follow up. All right. Testing will start in a few months. Now let's go ahead and dive into what they kind of say what communities can do. Communities can be set up around social groups, families, the places you live and work, or other related arenas. Within a school's community, a separate group chats can exist only for teachers to communicate with each other, another for funding committees, and yet another for honor students. So it kind of continues to dive in around focusing, allowing one space for multiple groups. Now, it is important to know what I was kind of talking about earlier is that when you kind of look at you can't just join random groups and communities. It isn't a way to just kind of search for them, right? However, once an administrator invites you into a community, you either through a link or a text, you can see which other groups exist within it. If you see one you like, you can request to join. Now, the last thing I kind of want to say here, WhatsApp says it will limit how many people are allowed to be in a community. Currently, group chats only can go up to 256, but communities may contain thousands of people. So we don't know how many people they can have in a group. So you might not be able to have like a full student body group maybe if your student body's too big. But maybe you can have 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade kind of groups within it. And it probably wouldn't be a big district play where one district can have all their schools on one place. It seems like each school would be its own community. So, yeah, interesting stuff. A tool that we saw go online that we thought could be valuable. We will see the updates and when it's going to be released, but I'm going to have that information in the description as you can kind of keep updated on what's coming out of Meta. Thank you so much for watching Ed News. Look forward to seeing you on the next episode.